Hi, welcome to Now TV. I am your host, Lady Jennifer, or AKA Superwoman. I'm going to record what I wrote today in the letter in my email that I sent to Justin Trudeau, dated November 15th, 2015. Because I'm not well, as anybody following would know, I'm having health problems that Health Canada doesn't want to do anything about. The system we're in now seems to care more about paying itself, keep people sick to make more money off of the sick than they actually care about taking care of the sick. I'm actually wanting to go into the eating disorder clinic or the psych ward at the Royal in Ottawa because I want to see what the patients are like, what they're doing. I want to witness how well they're being treated, cared for with my own eyes. I want to see who the doctors are and what the doctors are like because of the bad experiences I've had all across this country, starting at St. Paul's Hospital in Vancouver. But in case something happens to me in the process of my trying to save my life, by not getting to meet the Queen on time to do something about it, or getting somebody in Parliament or in a government office that can make a difference for me, I want to cover my bases and make sure my voice is heard. I want to make sure that these videos are there so that the testimony has been left as a witness to my story, the proof of what life in this country has been like for this one person, me, this lady. I don't know. I think I'm going to start with the letter. I'll probably make a second video with today's writing, which I'm hoping will get published either with this letter or in two separate articles, for the people of Ottawa to get to know who I am, this person they see walking around in blue sneakers and a Superwoman jacket, and why I'm here. So, sorry, I'm not well. Stomach burns all the time. Hi, Justin. I'm glad you had a good day yesterday. It was an important one for you. May you learn a tremendous amount in the next year of your life at this job. And now that you've had your moment of glory without any disruption, I'd like to introduce myself to you, because I am needing your assistance with something. Something you could then be proud to watch the history unfold right before your very eyes. My name is Jennifer. I was born in Prince Rupert, BC, January 18th, 1975, at 8:21 p.m. to be exact. I am Lady Jennifer Suzanne Norfolk, as my mother is and my two daughters. I've spent my life knowing who I am, learning about my family history, growing up in Canada, watching Queen Elizabeth try to find me. I fully expected to laugh at the story, for it is quite humorous. I've kept my life hidden from the public because I wanted to be sure Prince William chose a wife and married before I revealed myself to the world. I understand that as a lady there carries a certain level of responsibility to marry title, but I had made up my mind years ago that I didn't want to have to marry into the royal family. I could never take the place of Princess Diana, although there is a beautiful picture of me from when I was a young child that comes pretty close. I realized the Queen's instincts were very strong. She is a very intuitive woman, and the whole point in trying to find me when I was still that young child was about the event, the experience known as a coronation. My mother had hers in England back when she was a teenager. It was held at Westminster Abbey, but Queen Elizabeth and her household were never informed of the event and therefore unable to attend. Now, I'm 40 and have two daughters, and none of the three of us have had our coronations, and I'd like to have mine before I'm dead. Though I understand it is tradition for these events to be held at Westminster Abbey in England, but for a proper event of such an order to happen now requires the Queen's assistance. I want her personal touch in the event of my coronation. I don't want to make the same mistake relatives put my mother through. I have two daughters to think about. I want them to see that though we are not billionaires, that our title as lady still holds a certain level of esteem and regard and is deserving of proper etiquette. Which leads me to another issue regarding tradition. Because I've spent the last 40 years living in Canada, it seems that the other obvious option for holding a coronation event is right here in Canada, to hold it in Ottawa at the Parliament. Crack the joke here growing up from my travels in this place where I've lived and what I've seen. I gave myself the nickname Princess of the Provinces. But since I am partial to leaving Canada and returning to Europe or settling in the US, that term benefits my daughters more. Meaning there are 3 coronations ultimately to be had, and therefore at least one can be held in Canada. I'm leaning toward my youngest, who is only 5 at this time, so there is still time for something of that nature to take place. I'm aware from my life's time that though there may be many lords about the UK, there are not so many ladies in North America itself. I wouldn't be surprised if my family of ladies is all there is. So in short, I understand that the coronation taking place still really does matter. This is why I'm now contacting you, because I need your help, Justin. I know your office can reach out and get a hold of the Queen by phoning someone at Buckingham Palace. I myself, on my own efforts, would never be able to reach her. I would like the opportunity to meet her and her family, meet my children, while we are all still alive to do so. But I'm afraid without your help, the vision I have in mind for this meeting and my coronation will never happen. There is lots about me to come to know, but all of this will have to take place over the course of several emails and in-person visits, or possible telephone calls if you wish. But the story I have to tell you is definitely one worth knowing, and I look forward to the opportunity of telling it to you over the course of our future interactions. But for this first email, I will close with the following links, pictures, and attachments for you to review before your first reply. You will find a documentary of work I've started about my family's history. This portion is focused on my grandparents' life. Along with this is a poem I wrote to which I won honorable mention in a contest. The National Film Board of Canada has already stated I'd be eligible for 100% of the funding regarding this work, but in order to receive this money, I must first find myself the right producer, one with more experience than me to help see the vision of this project through. So as you can see, my coronation plays a big part in all of this, and you now will also be a part of that story. I have things to discuss with you regarding the Highway of Tears as well, just to dignify the importance and relativity to my emails and prompt replies. I look forward to discussing this material and my plans regarding this with you as well. I have a feeling, putting our heads together, that we might just turn out to work out really well together. I'm aware that you are supposed to be leaving the country, but I'm hoping that I can hear briefly from you before you do. I'm currently stranded in a Holiday Inn in Burlington. All I can say about my current situation regarding homelessness in Canada is the best place in the country to be homeless is Burlington. Because there are so few homeless people here and no shelters, the Salvation Army puts people up in the hotel. Why I'm here can't be explained in this email, for this one is full already. But it does have to do with the big campaign, Basic Income Guarantee, and my past efforts to try and interact with a certain senator that could have changed the outcome of the current situation drastically had those efforts in communication resulted in success. But over time, as you and I get to know each other and become friends, more of my thoughts and the actions I've already taken can be talked about, along with what sort of things can be done to do something about these problems. I look forward to your first correlating response and how you can help me reach Queen Elizabeth so that I can finally get my family out of this current mess of a situation I find myself in. Sincerely, Princess of the Provinces, Lady Jennifer. Please forward the same material and pictures I've shared with you here, Justin, to Queen Elizabeth for her convenience too. The sooner a press conference can be arranged, the better. For I'm certain Queen Elizabeth is just as tired of the years she spent searching for me as I've spent hiding from her and her grandsons. So now is the moment to shed light on it all and share the story of everything with everyone. In the attachments, you will find the story I mentioned, 3 pictures of me as a young girl, one of my oldest daughter before she decided to change her looks and be cool, and one of Sarah dressed formal. Then you have the Highway of Tears newest edition t-shirts, which I look forward to seeing you in and photographed wearing. The future to unfold from here between us should be a good one. Now, just to update everybody, both my daughters have had their birthdays, and mine is on January 18th. So my oldest is now 19, and my youngest is now 6, and I will be 41. And I am now staying at Cornerstone's Women's Shelter in Ottawa alone with my 2 kids in 2 separate places, one with my mother, one alone in a different city, trying to resolve all of my issues, being surgery that I need, and my ID issues with how much I've lived in Canada and where I've lived in Canada, I'm tired of renewing everything. My security license, my first aid, my handcuffing, my driver's license. It's not convenient to me. We need to come up with a solution like a Canada One ID or a dual citizen ID package for me so I don't have to change it again and again, regardless of which country I'm in. And that's why I need to discuss things with Queen Elizabeth, because my history is a little more complicated. My great grandfather is Blackfoot. He's chief from Blackfoot Nation from the state of Montana. He's from Montana. So what I'm saying is, he came over here to save his life. At that time, the whole continent was all of Algonquin Nation home people. And he didn't want to have to die because they're coming over there to build houses and, take the land to do what they want, which we now call America. At that time, the borders were just beginning to go into place, and he had lived freely on both sides. So he came over here to stay with people that is now reserves today, and got to live out his old age on this side and never signed a peace treaty. Didn't ever have to. So he might have lost his land and lost connection with the family in Montana, but he did get to live out his old age over here. And so by virtue of that weird circumstance, my great-grandmother, who was an attendant for a rich person, was brought over from England. I guess they came through the ship from Halifax like everybody did then. And then she found her way over to where he was. They met. She said he was the best-looking thing she'd ever seen. And they ensued to have 4 children together, one of which was my grandfather. And so that's really important and a primary part of my documentary and its history. And also relevant to why I was picking on one particular senator's assistants. There's a connecting story, but never mind. That'll tell itself in due time. But I don't know where I should be living, where I should get my ID from. I am universal, literally. I've proven God, proven the Bible, proven truth, proven righteousness, proven God is love. I'm from all 3 places, Europe, Canada, and America. And so I'd like to figure out how to deal with the triple bypass. The triple pass. I don't even know what you call that. I know what dual citizenship is, but what's this? So it's relevant. I speak to the governments, the heads of government, to figure out, in partaking of my coronation, what we do with my ID. I can't really work anywhere because you guys have these laws now, all these licenses in places where people have to have these things to do jobs that I didn't need that stuff to do when I started out many years ago in these fields. To be a bodyguard, to be a bouncer, to be a real one doesn't require a license in my pocket. And to renew my license doesn't require having to work for somebody in order to renew it. But Ontario is a bit behind and a bit weird. Too many pot smokers, too many people going backwards in IQ and in education. Same thing with doctors and PhDs. There's less learning, less understanding, less ability to make differences and solve problems and come up with cures. The point of my being here is that I've been trying to get vertical sleeve gastrectomy, VSG surgery, for over 3 years. Originally, I had leaned towards Roux-en-Y, but the more research I did on my body size and my health condition and the benefits and the results, I have changed my mind and realized that VSG is the better surgery because I'm athletic, because I'm normally in very good shape and I like to keep busy. I love to be in the mountains. I love walking and swimming, and etc. I have to be able to eat a certain portion amount of food 3 to 5 times a day in order to be able to continue to be that active and work out afterwards. When you get the Roux-en-Y, what happens is a person basically can't exercise ever. You can't go to the gym. You can't work out. If you do, it's got to be 20-minute increments, and then it takes 45 minutes to put in 2 ounces of food. Terrible way to live your life. And then you've got problems with GERD. And then you've got problems with pulled a blank. Anyways, it makes your body throw up. dry heaving and stuff, because stuff goes into the small intestines and it's not good. So VSG is definitely the way to go. And I found in Mexico there are surgeons that give that procedure more. They have given over 10,000 at this one clinic alone. And the price is less than half of what we charge people in Canada for the same procedure. And we can do it, or they can do it, within 2 weeks of payment. They'll even take installments. Whereas here, I know a man that waited in Maritimes for 10 years for the surgery and died. 2 days after he died, he got a letter accepting him for the surgery. One tragedy like that is one too many. What kind of system are we in? What kind of country are we in when we allow people to pass away from being overweight and just as hungry as those who are underweight, which is where I'm thinking I'm going to earn my PhD here. It wasn't a long shot to figure out that the gift of the answers to these surgeries was not just meant for anorexics, but also for obese people suffering from the same eating disorder on the inside with the opposite responses from the body's hormones. When a person's always been overweight or generally been on the overweight side, they're still going to suffer from the same hunger issues, the same high blood pressure, same cholesterol issues, the same congenital heart failure, same diabetes issues, all that stuff that skinny people can also suffer from, only they'll suffer a lot longer and it's a lot more painful because the stomach's a lot bigger than a person who's thin suffering from the same disease. They die faster because they get thinner. But towards the end, they all start suffering from the same thing that I'm living through right now. And you can't be sensitive to listen to it. I gasp when I eat because I'm suffering from my heart because of all the years of lifetime of struggles of power, control issues around my family, trying to control, manipulate my life, and the battery of the abuse of the things I've survived in this place. From my drug using, from my lifestyle, my need to be thin or fit in, and being a little bit chubby and not realizing I probably wasn't as big as I saw. And so now it's taken its toll on my body and I can't lose the weight again. If I do, it might kill me to do that. And since I'm already dying, the only thing left to do is to give me the surgery to see if it can extend my life. Maybe I'll live to see 60 instead of just 45. So it's a scary place to be, but I'm trying to do the responsible thing here. And I've tried several times to deal with several doctors and contacting several people to help me on my own before coming here. But this is the last straw. It didn't pan out. They all just want to make money, as much money as possible. They don't actually care about helping. But this surgery, if a person who's underweight were to gain weight and go up to 250, would stop them from starving to death on the low side of the scale. They'd stop being hungry, stop suffering from heart failure and breathing problems, and they would be able to live. Their whole life wouldn't be about food. How much, how often, sleep, poo. Same thing with the opposite side of the scale. Everything wouldn't be about food, not having enough food. No matter how much you eat, you're still hungry because of how many years you've eaten just one portion, never having seconds. So there's always hunger. And the larger the stomach, the larger the portion needed to fill it just once, and still being hungry and can't have seconds. Same thing, your body goes into starvation mode. Only on the big scale side, you retain the fat cells. So your body stores it because it's in starvation mode. Whereas the skinny people have nothing to store, so it starts eating the organs, the liver, the kidney, the heart. Then you get renal kidney failure, and a hole in your heart. And then the doctors try to patch it up. And then you die at some point because there's no fat to store. So it's the same disease. Only people look at us, the big people, and they think, oh, look at that person. She's fat. Oh, what does she do wrong? What is she eating wrong? Well, nothing. But it's your ignorance and your blindness that doesn't see that there's something else going on, that there is a procedure for that shouldn't be out there today just on a cosmetic basis only, a quick weight loss solution. People are ignorant to think that only if you have money can you have it now. That in Toronto, you have to jump through hoops and follow certain guidelines, and only then can you have the surgery. They're not thinking about the actual problem and the medical issues that require people to be allowed to have the surgery now. Prep her for surgery, admit her into the hospital, and within a couple of days, they're under the knife, and within a couple of hours, they come out a whole new person with a whole new chance at life. That causes people to get sicker, have more health problems, and die. That's a problem. In case something happens to me, I just wanted to make sure that I have left my testimony about my struggles in this country and why I want to move to other places where the advancements of society is 12 years ahead of this country and even further ahead of America. They show that using drugs in the system does make a difference in IQ, and that the caring meter has dropped. That the care that I thought I was seeing growing up in this place was me. It wasn't the people I was growing up around. It's how much I cared, not the people I grew up with in this place. It's disheartening when you find out that everything you've lived through in a place is a lie. But I know there are still good people here. So I haven't given up all hope or all as a loss. I see good people everywhere I go. And those good people have got to come together. We have to work together. If you want to save this place and keep it a country called Canada, not have somebody come and pay off the deficit and then own the country and change its name. Have too many immigrants come in and go to banks where more of their own cultural people are there at the banks working to give them credits and money so they can buy out more of our businesses and have other countries bring businesses from someplace else instead of creating our own businesses. To be a country, then we have to get together and we have to make changes. We can't just sit back and watch other people take over. Then we can call it something else and you're just living in it. And I mentioned that in the next piece, which I'll read, which I wrote today. But that's my segment for today for Now TV. I have to go and eat. I have to keep myself fed enough to keep my heart from failing from congested heart failure while I'm off my heart pills because I don't have money to pay for my meds, because my movie money from the movies I have written hasn't come through because the banks won't give me anything in Canada. I'm not in Hollywood and they don't follow the same precedent or procedures, and I haven't been able to get anybody in Parliament to read the screenplay yet, or Rick Mercer yet, but I imagine it's coming. So some of that stuff should still work out. So I got to go do that, and then I'll come back and I'm going to do the other portion of the situation. So as for Justin, I'm sorry. I did write a beautiful letter, and it was a beautiful invitation to be a part of my future and the life. And the fact that he's gone this long not replying is an embarrassment. It's embarrassing to the people that voted him in, to the people that went to school with him, people that live in this community, to the people that are supporting the Liberal Party. Again, not knowing when it's time to have a new party, a new name, progressive, or give an old name a new chance like Reform. And that next piece will say more about my relation to the time I waited for a response and asked for help from CBC, the mayor's office, and now a newspaper as I keep pushing along with British High Commission and other places that I don't need to mention, to try and get myself that surgery, to try and get myself into recovery, and to get my children reunited with me and get my career going and the ball going in the right direction for the changes that need to take place in this country, which starts with meeting with Queen Elizabeth. So bye for now, you guys. Thanks for listening to the whole thing. It's really important. It's worth it. I just hope YouTube loads it. I know you have to, really play with it in order for them to load stuff over 15. So we'll see. Maybe this will become like a TV show. I'll just wear the camera on me. Now TV. How much work I got to do, how far I got to go to get to where I should have been 2 years ago after the first movie was finished. So I'm going to go eat dinner and then come back and do the next parts. But thanks for watching, supporting. If you have any questions, have any suggestions, don't hesitate to write thewriter1@gmail.com and support by following and leaving comments. Peace out, Superwoman AKA Lady Jennifer, Now TV here in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada.